Okay, anyway, welcome to the Peterborough Telegraph interview with Mr. MacAnthony, and thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, for organising this.
Always happy.
It's a good pleasure, and I'm sure it'll be very informative. Now, I understand you've got something to announce before I ask you any questions so far away.
I have. Some good and bad news. The good news for Posh fans is I sold the club yesterday. So there's basically new owners coming in. They'll be here on Friday. I thought I'd give you the scoop since you've always been very good to the club and me. And they'll be at the Fleetwood game, and they're Italian.
You're being deadly serious.
Deadly serious.
Really?
Yep.
Can you give us some more information? Names?
No, they'll announce themselves on Friday. I just wanted to use this moment to say goodbye. And obviously they'll introduce themselves on Friday. They're from Italy. There's some business people, and hopefully they can take the club forward.
Oh, well, we appreciate the information. That's just ruined the first 15 questions on the list. But I mean, I was going to start off actually with 18 months ago.
I'm winding you up. I'm joking. The mad thing. Look, the mad thing of Italians. I'm only joking.
You should have said Chinese.
Phil over there has just collapsed in his chair. They're bringing their own media team in, by the way. I'm joking.
Very good. You see, it was believable.
I got you there,
so you did, yes.
Did you believe that?
He was tweeting from my account.
Listen,
that was
there'll be plenty of guys out there probably going, yay, and then they're going,
yeah, that's right. Well, you've managed to get, I bet LondonRoad.net extra Twitter has just gone crazy, the people that are watching it. Anyway, we will start on that subject if you don't mind, because 18 months ago you did say you would seek different owners with a different policy if Posh were playing in the Championship at the end of this season. You talked about falling on your sword, something that every good owner should contemplate doing.
100%.
Why did you change your mind?
Why did I change my mind? I like owning a football club. I like owning Peterborough. I've never publicly advertised the club for sale. I've never put it up for sale. I wouldn't even know how to start. I don't know how people do that or whatever else. I presume I got approached by someone who'd sold the League One club last year to some foreign owners, and they wanted to get back in. They'd made a mistake. They'd sold with their partner, and he wanted to come back into football, and he wanted to buy the Posh. But it was a phone call. Are you interested? And my answer was no, straight away. So it wasn't even, what have you got to offer, or what do you want to do, and whatever else. Look, would my wife probably like me to sell the football club? Would my dad, because the stress they see me under all the time? Probably, because of the stress, the grief and everything else, but I still have a great appetite for it. I still enjoy it. It's obviously less enjoyable when you're not winning promotions, you're not being successful. I do my best. I didn't buy a football club to make money. I didn't buy a football club to use it as some sort of vehicle like lots of other people do. I did buy it for some old-fashioned fun and to be successful, to run it in the right way, be respectful to the fans who were behind the football club. Bar telling one of them today, the irony. So it's never really crossed my mind. Now, if I felt, and I've always said this, that there's a smell from certain elements that want me to move on, and people are voting with their feet, and people are voting with their wallets, okay, I have to look at it.
Is that not happening then?
Probably a little bit. So you're encouraging me to put it up for sale.
Not the slightest, but...
No, but is that happening? It's happening where, the crowds are dropping, of course. We're not daft, We're on target for, I think, 5-4, 5-5 this season as crowds. And even when we were in the top 6, we weren't getting the crowds, were we? And you look then at Lincoln down the road, who are having a promotion campaign, doing great. Not sure about the football. You've watched them, I'm watching them tonight, no disrespect to them. Fans always moan at us that the standard of football is not a certain way, but it doesn't really matter because Lincoln are playing winning football. And what Lincoln are doing is they're rejuvenating and they're getting 7,000 and 8,000 people, even midweek. And then you look at us and we're in the top 6 in League One up till January or whatever, and we still can't drag those numbers over, can we?
You understand the reasons for that though, don't you? I mean, these people who are complaining, and they're plentiful on social media, the standard of football and the gradual decline over the last 5 seasons will be 2 points they would make to you as to why they're not attending.
Yeah,
what would you say to them? I mean, what would you say to the sceptical Posh fans?
To the sceptics, I would say, why are you a football fan? Why are you a football fan?
Why should they believe in your abilities to bring Championship football back to here?
Okay, fair question. I would say to any fan, why do you support a football club? Is it just always about winning? Do you have to be always winning promotions or being at the top of the Premier League? Or why are you a football fan? Why did Gillingham the other day when we played them have 7,000-8,000 people? Where are Gillingham in the league? Where are they?
There's a £10 entry that day.
No, but where are they in the league? If I put a £10 entry, do you think we'd get 8,000 people?
Possibly.
Do you think
Depending on the circumstances, yeah, who we were playing, what position in the league we were.
Do you believe that really?
Yes, I do believe that, yeah, for a £10, yeah.
Do you believe that?
You agree with
Not where we are right now.
Right,
no.
okay.
So we're fighting against relegation, I think,
Yeah, you think to get people behind you, they'd come in. Yeah, fair enough, maybe a fair call. Oldham did a free night, obviously they had a decent crowd. I don't know the real answers to that. You can say, is it too expensive? Is it the level of football? Have we been bad in matches? Yeah, of course we have. Have we been good in matches? Of course we have. I'd say that over Christmas, the football was okay. We were competing. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay. So Boxing Day, the 28th, would you say those crowds were the same as a few years ago when we were competing? Played Millwall on Boxing Day?
Definitely not.
Right. So that wasn't to do with the football. That wasn't to do with where we were in the league, because we were pretty much in a similar place. So what's the answer?
It might well have been a gradual decline. I mean, people's apathy is slowly growing, in my opinion, because of the 5-year gradual decline that people keep talking about.
No, I get the gradual decline. You know, every year you finish worse. Do you know what I mean? And will this season be the same? I understand that.
But my question still stands: How are you going to convince these people to come back? Why should they believe in you now that you can do what you did when you first got here?
Yeah, you can't live in history and you can't rest in your laurels, can you? You can't say, well, look, I've been here 10 years and there's a 40% chance of us being successful. Would you say that's high for a football club?
Mm-hmm.
Considering only 15% of the league get promoted, would you say having a 40% chance going into every season of being successful is quite good?
If
would
that's
you say yes?
accurate, yes.
Well, let me add the facts up. 10 years, 3 promotions, 1 trophy. Is that 40%? 4 out of 10? Yes?
It is.
So that's a 40% return.
But they all came in a rush at the beginning.
No. But is that a 40% return over a 10-year period?
It's a 40% return, yeah. But
okay, not in the last 4 years.
Exactly.
Right. Well,
That
4 years ago.
there,
4 years ago was 6th in a trophy.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
So you'd say the last 3 years has been a decline.
We could stop that decline this year. It's a possibility.
Right. You finished 10th. You finished 9th. You finished 8th. You beat Coventry. Your season's still alive with 2 games to go at Easter. Correct. That's the frustrating thing. As crap as we've been, as bad as it's been, you win 3 more home games, you're sitting 6th. Yeah. You win against Coventry, you're still in the rush for something to the end of the season, as bad as it's been from January onwards. Do you know what I mean? What have I got to say to fans to convince them? Look, whatever I say, it'll be, well, it's more hype. We don't believe you. You've said it before. We've heard it all before. Actions speak louder than words.
They do. I mean, what they've heard you say before is we are going to be in the Championship.
Sure.
We will be challenging for the Premier League in 3 years' time.
Sure.
Which I think
we're going to win the league.
I think that's something you said 18 months ago when you threatened to step down.
Sure.
Is that we should be aiming for the Premier League in 3 years. I mean,
3 years.
18 months ago.
5 years.
Was it 5 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
The 7-year plan.
I must have wrote
the
it down
second
wrong
7-year
at the
plan.
time. I was copied it wrong from
3
Twitter.
years would have been overconfident even from me.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, what are you going to do different next year that's going to
What did I do different this year?
Again?
What did I do different this year?
You tell me.
Well, you're a very clever local journalist. What do you think I did differently this year from other years? What did I try to do differently this year?
You had less hype in the summer as a conscious decision from you.
Yep.
I remember you getting very excited at something I wrote last May, which suggested you might tone down the hype, bring down the expectations.
Which goes against everything I am made of. My life is built on optimism. My life is built on believing, I hate the word believe, by the way, on believing we can do this. And if we fall short, we're okay. I hate not being able to come out and go, I want to compete. When I say I want us to compete for promotion or a league title, I believe it. It's not bullshit, it's not hype, it's not nonsense and whatever else. I put the money behind it, I believe it, I push it, I back it. And I hate the fact people say, don't say that, don't do that, because you build it up, you disappoint us. If we don't reach those targets, it's your fault for hyping it up. What am I meant to say to fans every summer? Am I meant to come out and say every summer, we're going to fight relegation every year. We're going to do what Oldham do. We're going to take it right to the death and we're going to just about survive because it's more exciting. Is that my aims? Because I don't want to own a football club. If my aim for Peterborough is every year to basically tread water, like we say treaded water the last 4 or 5 months, although we put ourselves in a better position at Christmas, I don't want to be here. I want to challenge for promotion. I believe we could win a league title. I believe we can get back to the Championship. Well, all I can do each season is back my beliefs, back what we're trying to do with the manager, with recruitment. I did things differently this year. I listened to what our fans said. I didn't go into the hype overdrive with what I seriously believe. We went out and recruited instead of bringing in 18 to 22-year-old players, which is our typical profile, what did we go and do? We went out and recruited players who were 23 to 29 most of the time, who'd played a certain amount of league games and had league experience, whether that was League 1 or League 2. Massively. And that's what frustrates me. If you look at our team, the last few games, 2 weeks ago or whatever we played, I don't know where we played, it was in Millwall, Bradford, and I looked at the team. It was one of the oldest teams we've fielded since I've been here, and the average wage in the team was over 2.2 a week. For a Peterborough side. It's massive.
What's the highest wage we've got?
It doesn't matter what the highest wage we've got. The point is, what I'm trying to say to you is, the promotion teams we had, the average wage was $12.50 a week. Now, we went away, we went up, we spent, we brought in free transfers, we paid a lot of wages to land the free transfers instead of paying the usual Peterborough transfer fees for the young and hungry who come in on less wages, and we went the other way. We brought in Anthony Grant in January, we paid a lot of money for him. He was wanted on a free transfer by a lot of clubs in the summer. We brought that forward and we beat them. We've done other deals this season in that way. We've paid Premier League loan money, for players. We ended up paying a lot of money for the goalie after we'd originally agreed. What I'm saying to you is that I have backed the club financially big time this year. Has it paid off? No. Has that policy paid off? No. Has it been exciting? Of course it hasn't. It hasn't been the season we want it to be. Has it been the end of the world? No. We've got a rookie manager. We've got a young manager, and people don't want to fire him, they want to get rid of him. Listen, give me all your criticism, your hate, your crap, your unhappiness. Don't aim it at him. Don't aim it at a 36-year-old manager in his first full season in the job, because you can kill a young manager quickly, and I could go and fire him tomorrow. He'd be done in football. I think he's got serious talent. I think he's got serious potential to be a terrific young manager, not because he's the ex-player or the ex-captain. The man himself can be a seriously good manager.
He's had to deal things
things
that we don't know.
He's had to deal with massive things, and if I listed the things he's had to deal with, none caused by me, by the way, before people want to get in the blame brigade, the stuff he's had to deal with for a 36-year-old young manager, he shouldn't have had to deal with. Darren Ferguson didn't have to deal with it when he first came in here. The stuff that he's had to deal with has been a real challenge, and he's handled it really well.
You're talking about player issues.
Player issues and
with personal problems.
Loads of it. And he's had to deal with all of that this season, and he's handled it with grace, he's handled it with class. He hasn't had a meltdown, a temper tantrum. I've had great managers work for me threaten to quit because it all got too much for them. I was expecting him to get on top of him at one point and want to go, listen, I've had enough of this, I'm out. And he's gone the other way. Absolutely loves it, the challenge, the what he's learning and the things that have happened. And all some of our fans want to do as well, it's just let's sack him and let's bring in this manager and let's do this. Careful what you wish for. That's that saying in life, And if we end up 11th, 10th, 9th for a rookie manager in his first season, that's okay. Is he happy with it? Of course not. We were sat at the awards. We went to the awards the other night together. We drove up and came back, and I drove him up. We came back in about an hour, doing 70 or 80 miles, and he was seething most of the night because everyone's up there on stage. The ex-gaffer, Darragh, comes over, has a drink with me, we're hugging and we're talking, and he's won the league manager, rightly so, and he's rebuilt Doncaster, and he's come back up, and it's not that Grant's jealous, he's envious in a good way. Healthy envy's fine, jealousy's bitter and horrible.
Do you think he can become another Ferguson?
I don't think he needs to be compared to another Fergie, and it's very unfair.
In terms of his promotion,
I think,
winning skills.
I think very much, and I said to him the other night, I said, look at Darren's career. Darren in 10 years has had 4 promotions, he's had 3 relegations, and he's been sacked 3 times. He's had the highs, the lows, and he's bounced back. I spoke to Darren last year when Donny were relegated, and he was low. And I said to him, I said, Gaffer, you got to get your mojo back.
What has gone wrong here then?
You want to dig deep.
I'll tell you one thing Darren said on Saturday night after he won promotion was that they recruited very well, they bought strong characters.
Sure.
Is that something we've not managed to do
Probably
for this season?
I agree with that.
And
I would say for this season, and some of the people we thought would grow into strong characters that we recruited 3, 4, 5 years ago. Because you buy people you think have it in them, and you got to take it out of them and bring it out of them, and they become leaders. Characters aren't just born. It comes with game time and years and whatever else. And I would say you're spot on with that.
I mean, you had your big long meeting with Grant for 5 hours
on
Sunday.
Absolutely.
I mean, is there going to be a clear out in the summer?
We put it on the board, and we looked through the board, and we went, what's he done for us since he's arrived? What's he contributed? When it's got down to the nitty gritty, forget about winning games. The nitty gritty, the money end of the season. Where's he been? And that's what we went through.
Was there anybody you were positive about
and
when you went through that?
Of course there is. Listen, you have to find positivity. You can be completely negative.
Tell me, who you were positive about?
Let me finish and speak. Otherwise, we'll have a ping pong backwards and forwards. You know what I mean? We looked at the board and we went, right, how many promotion winners are on that board out of the current squad? How many winners have we got? Because they're not turning into them quickly. So how many have we got up there? What have we got to do? How are we going to play next season? How are we going to arrest the slide? How are we going to finish this season strongly to give everyone something to hang on to in a positive way because of that negative vibe and environment around here for a Peterborough United with 5,000 fans and we're in the top 11 in League One? How are we going to arrest that and the expectations that have been set from years gone by? How do we stop living in the past, including the media, so that when Grant sits in front of an interview and the media want to talk about what happened last year and the year before and the slides that happened when he wasn't even here, how do we stop that from happening? So these are all the things we spoke about. We spoke about the things around the club. Do we give the players too much? They have a chef, the training ground. Do we need to get nasty and back to basics with some of them?
And what did you decide?
There were lots decided, but it's not for me. I can talk about what was decided until they're put into practice, until they happen, until it's like everything else, Swanny. I can tell you what we're going to do. I can tell you what we've decided to do, but it'll mean diddly if we don't deliver. Correct? Because like you're saying to me, what can you do to convince everyone that you can deliver a promotion to the championship? Well, at the end of the day, people can vote with their feet in their wallets, which they're doing, and they can go another way. And it goes the way of, I'll do my best to get us back into the championship, or I'll say, you know what, I've had enough of this. Why should I put my time and money into something that people are like, well, you know what, we're giving up after a few bad seasons. And by bad seasons, I mean 13th or 12th in League One. Because for a club the size of Peterborough United... You would have described
those seasons at the time when they finished as bad yourself, wouldn't you?
Of course I would, because it's my money. As a football fan of a football club, do you know what I mean? The size of our football club, would I turn around and say it's outright bad and horrible and nasty and whatever else? No. I've seen fans suffer. I've seen fans relegated. I've seen fans see their clubs disappear into non-league. I've seen everyone saying to me 2 years ago how great Leyton Orient were. And look at Leyton Orient and why did they beat us in the playoffs? Where's Leyton Orient? Right. I saw fans last year, some fan, or you know who he is, always on at me at Twitter, going on about Gillingham, top of the league, doing this, didn't sell their best player. Gillingham. Where's Gillingham? A year later. Right. Who else have I had thrown at me? Over and over, these clubs who have one season, one-off wonders. Yeah. Another one was Walsall last year, who were flying high. Again, thrown at me. And the bottom line is that, yeah, these clubs might have that one-off great season, go up, don't go up, or they're competing or whatever else. But more than enough, afterwards, they slide. They slide down. Now, I'm not saying we're not sliding, but we're trying to hold our own on the top half of League One and compete for promotion all the time. 2 years ago, with 4 games to go or 5 games to go, when Dave Robertson was here, we were in the top 6. Do you remember?
I do.
Right. That was 2 seasons ago.
Before Christmas.
Right. Last season, Graham Wesley was here, going into January. We were in the top 6. Is that a fair assessment?
We're close to it.
Right. We were in the top 6. This season, we were in the top 6 in January, correct?
December, I thought, but...
when we went to play Chelsea, I was pretty sure we were not still in the top 6.
I don't think so.
The day of that game when everyone's got their games in hand.
But possibly.
Right.
But
so, again, we've started the season, we won promotion. We've given our fans a taste of it, a smell of it. For half of the season, we've been competing, and then we've fallen away. Is that fair to say? Right, every season the last 3 years with that decline. These other clubs I mentioned, they've had 1 in 3 or 1 in 4 years where they've flirted with it and then fallen away. So all I'm trying to say to you is that no matter how bad our fans feel they have it here, or we have it, there's other clubs and fans out there who've got it worse than us. And it's not so bad sometimes. So what do we have this season? We had a rookie manager, rookie staff. We invested heavily in a squad. We brought in experienced people, and it hasn't worked.
You take your share of the blame for that?
Yes and no. Yes, because I backed it even though I didn't want to. That policy.
Okay.
It's not my policy.
So the manager had
Barry involved. It wasn't the manager or Barry. They all agreed it's a policy we'll give a go to.
Right.
You know what I mean?
People. But you just said you didn't agree with it.
No, I didn't agree with. I didn't want to do the policy.
Right.
I didn't want to do it, me personally. But we all got in line and agreed to do it. Let's do something different. Let's try and arrest the slide. Let's try and bring in those characters, or bring in people we think will become characters. We've probably overpaid some people. We didn't go after players we'd normally go after. Things like that. The usual of injuries has hurt us this season. You know, again, Jermaine was a big part of our season. Getting Jermaine back was a massive part of what we were going to do. The role he was going to play, and Leo would be his apprentice and play some games, and Jermaine would be the main man and his goals, and it was a big part of what we wanted to do.
You're making it sound like you might be going back to the policy of previous years then. Back to young and hungry.
No, I'm not saying that. I just know what we are, Swann. We're fat and happy.
Oh, that's good.
I'm not fat and happy.
And I think you've just done a good job of dampening down some expectations. If that's what your intention was. Have you been surprised though that certainly for 3 or 4 months that the football under Graham Westley, given his reputation in the game, has been better to watch than the football under Grant McCann, given his reputation in the game?
I don't agree, because I don't believe it was his football.
Graham's football, because it was.
I just don't believe it was his football.
He was the manager though, so if you're going to blame him for bad results, we perhaps ought to give him some credit for.
I give him credit. I give him credit for coming in and buying into what the club was doing at first, and we played well.
We played very well. Scunthorpe away,
we did.
Leuven at home.
We did. We started with
great performances.
We started with Oldham and Bradford. Do you know what I mean? And it was the start. Yeah. And it was the whatever, and Graham Wesley, and I'm meeting Graham Wesley tomorrow for a coffee, and I haven't seen Graham for a year, and there's been a lot of stuff said and emails, so I'm going to meet him for a coffee tomorrow and end all that once and for all, because I get on with previous managers contrary to what's written. Would I give Graham the credit for all the good and the bad? It would be unfair. It's a collective effort. You win together, you fail together. It got to the point where Graham was, I didn't fire Graham for the results at the football club. I fired Graham because I didn't enjoy working with him.
Okay. Bit like Gary Johnson then.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, you've got a better relationship with Grant then.
Oh, very good relationship, but people will say, well, that's probably because he agrees with everything you say, and you fired those people because they didn't agree with you. It wasn't about Gary Johnson not necessarily agreeing with me or Graham Wesley agreeing with me. It was, you work with these people every day, you talk to them every day. If the communication becomes an issue, not because of something you want and they're not doing it, it becomes difficult. You know what I mean? You're spending a serious amount of money on people.
Do you appoint these managers on your own? Do you complete the decision on your own?
I do.
You don't. Barry's no input.
No, Barry will. Barry will put names up. Of course he will. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? We'll put a list together of people we want to go after. Barry will contact them to make the appointments for me to see them. I will see them. I will speak to them. I take full responsibility for every manager hired.
Did you assess? I mean, Grant was part of Dave Robertson's team and also Graham's team. I mean, you clearly didn't hold that against him. Then was his input that negligible, or to those two managers?
No, I would say that under Dave did everything. Grant did very little. Right. Dave wanted to do everything on the training ground, which, okay, credit to Dave. Most managers, a lot of them will want to do that. Under Graham, I would say Grant did a hell of a lot on the training ground. And what Graham was very good at when he first came in was the front side of giving everyone that lift. He was very good mentally, you know, and with football players, like everything else, eventually that can wear off. It has that bounce, then it can wear off. Look, we can keep harping back. Graham likes to write in his paper. His friend Adrian likes to go on about it all the time on Twitter. Connor Washington killed our season last season, according to them too.
So did he not?
Well, let me ask you a question.
Would he have gone up if he'd have stayed?
No chance.
Because you expected his form to dip, or?
I just expected, with the injuries and the problems we were having and what I could see happening with the players, the training ground and everything else, that no, we wouldn't have gone up. We didn't, it just wouldn't have happened. No. Connor Washington leaving, staying would have made no difference. He probably wouldn't have scored as many goals by the end of the season. We'd have been in a position like Gillingham with Bradley Dack.
You're his biggest fan.
Hang on, Gillingham won't get $2.5 million for Bradley Dack. They could have got it last January. We struck where the iron's hot. You have to do that as a football club, particularly a club our size. We did what was right for the club, and it was the right bit of business.
Did we need the money?
Of course we need the money. Of course we do. We always need the money. Would I have come up with the money if we didn't sell Connor Washington? Of course. Who's come up with the money this season? Who have we sold?
No one.
Right. So who came up with 500 grand in January?
We did try though, didn't we, to sell?
Not January. No, not January.
Okay.
Who came up with 500 grand in January? Me.
Let me say this then. I mean, after the first 3 games of January this season, Grant McCann made a massive point of singing Chris Forrester's praises. It reminded me of the time when Darren Ferguson used to do similar things with Jermaine Anderson without the press prompting him, comparing him to Dele Alli, etc.
Okay. Do you think Grant was actively trying to sell Chris
Barry
Forrester?
Fry did the same with Leo in January. In August, regarding Manchester United. Is this not the club trying to sell someone? Is that why it happens? Because they do it without the press asking the actual question. Did you think Chris Forrester played well today? Grant would say it anyway before we'd asked it.
Did we not try and do it when the Trinity were here?
I don't remember it so much then, no.
It's a selective memory
one
problem.
One of the things I was going to tell you.
I'll talk at some stage,
one of the things I was going to say was that one of the reasons for our success, in my opinion, in your early days, was the fact that you were so good in keeping hold of our talent. I mean, are those days going to return?
Okay.
Or have they already?
Well, let me ask you a serious quick. Can I answer?
Of course, yes.
Right, okay. So we never praised George Boyd, Aaron McLean, Craig McHale-Smith, Lee Tomlin. None of those players back in the day. Barry never spoke to you in the press, never blew up any of the players to hype. Darren Ferguson never did it back in the day on any of those. I mean, there's selective memory and there's ignorant memory. Let's be fair. I get what you're trying to do. And I get you trying to come across like you're asking the right questions and you got to get this point across about selling. And I get what you're trying to do. But it doesn't fit the narrative because you're forgetting about history. You're making it suit and it doesn't suit. So the manager comes out and praises Chris Forrester. It means he's trying to sell him. Do you honestly think my manager, let me finish. Do you honestly think my manager wants to sell his best player in the football team? Be honest.
He probably doesn't, but I was just asking a question.
Absolutely
yes.
not. No way. Barry comes out and hypes up Leo as George Best. And he's like the Antichrist for coming out with that stuff. And he did it long before January. And again, Barry, of course Barry's going to do it with young players. Of course he's going to hype them up. It's what Barry does. He's positive minded. I did it with Leo when I saw him at 15 in Spain. I rang Barry and hyped him up. Every time we compliment the football, you can't do right for wrong around this bloody place at the moment. Because every time you say something positive about a player, it's hype. I saw some great things yesterday from the youth team. I don't want to talk about it because it's hype and I'm trying to sell them. You know, we sell Connor Washington and there's a conspiracy theory and it's still going on because of your pal at TalkSport about, did we need the money? Well, let me ask you a question. Since then, what have we sold?
We haven't.
Right. Have we paid our bills? Yes or no?
I would imagine we have. I don't know for sure, but...
Right. Did we pay transfer fees in the summer? Yes or no?
Yes.
Right. I bought Gwian Edwards. Do you think he was free and he just showed up here?
No.
Right. Did I pay in January 130 grand for a 30-year-old with 6 months left on his contract? Yes or no?
You did.
Right. Did I sell anyone?
No.
Right. Are the players' wages paid?
Yes.
Okay. Unlike Leyton Orient and all these other clubs you hear rumours about. Okay. So if all these conspiracy theories and we don't have money and I need to sell, we're a League One club with a gate most Saturdays, that doesn't pay for the football club. Who do you think pays for the football club? A fairy godmother?
I understand all that. I was just asking a question.
Do the fans, do the media understand, who pays the bills here? It's me.
Of course they do.
Right. So, selling players. When did I last sell a player?
Tell me.
A year ago? 15 months ago? Right. When did I sell a player before that?
Was there interest in these players? Forrester, Madison, people?
You tell me.
You turn them down?
You're in the press.
No, I'm just... you're the owner, you'll know more than me.
No, but you tell me, you're in the press. You talk to Barry, you have the inside scoop. Do you think there was interest in the players? You think no?
I would suggest there might have been, yes, in January.
We're in the top 6. We do okay at Chelsea, whatever else. You think there was no interest? I couldn't have sold a player.
I didn't say that, no.
Right. If I wanted to sell a player, I could have picked up the phone anytime in January and got at least 2 million quid for players. At least.
You could.
At least.
Yeah. Forrester and Madison in particular.
Whoever I wanted. I could put the deeds of the club on the table now with you, Leo? Make a bet with you and go, Leo's the one. I'm telling you that I could have at least got 2 million. But here, it's just me hyping
even
an 18.
In January.
Absolutely. It's an 18-year-old I'm hyping up.
We all love your opinion of Leo.
Listen, in November...
What are you seeing
in November,
Leo?
hang on, I got a bid from a Championship football club. On paper, all right, 2 million down, 2 million in appearances with a 40% sell-on. 40%.
You turned it down.
But that's me lying.
Oh, I've never said that.
But that's what people say.
I think
why would I even make that up?
You get the odd hothead on Twitter who might
you
accuse
get lots
you
of
that.
nonsense.
You might get someone on Twitter accusing you of taking
as lots
money
of people
from
in the media
all
say,
sorts of
I need money.
but,
we need money. We need to do whatever else. That's why we take the money. Listen.
But you said that's why you took the Washington money.
We took the Washington money for 3 reasons for the Washington money. Connor Washington wasn't worth 3 million quid. No disrespect to Connor.
I completely agree with you.
I love Connor.
Yeah,
I back Connor. Yeah. I argue with managers about Connor. I brought Connor to the club. Yeah. We got a golden period out of Connor where he scored 13 goals in 14 games. he nearly did his ACL the week before we sold him. Do you remember the game?
Not off the top of my head, no.
Right, there's a game 7 days before we sold him where we thought he did his ACL. And it frightened the bejesus out of everyone at the football club.
On the record, my personal opinion, fantastic piece of business. I agree with everything you say
100%.
about him. Wouldn't have carried on.
Right.
You know, I thought he improved fantastically under Graham, and Graham should get some credit for that. But I have got
Graham did brilliant with Connor.
I've got my doubts that he would have carried on.
He did brilliant with Connor.
At the time, I wasn't at all fussed by your sale, by his sale. But someone's asked me to ask the question. You know, did it affect our promotion chances? No. And you've answered.
What affected our promotion chances was the recruitment afterwards. Graham did brilliant with Connor. Brilliant.
He didn't fancy Tom Nichols at all, though, did he?
Listen, Graham did brilliant with Connor, and our recruitment at the end of that window was absolutely terrible.
Tom was already here, wasn't he? Before Connor left, I think, was he? Or did he come after?
No, he came after. He came after, yeah, absolutely.
He played one game, scored on his debut, and Graham didn't like him, did he?
Tom Nichols arrived at the football club, and he gets a lot of stick now from the fans and everything else. Tom Nichols arrived at the football club, and he was told on day one in front of all his players, everyone else, after he moved here with his wife, and his wife got a job and he bought a house, he was told on day one, no disrespect, I've always thought you're a the only reason you're here is because the football club brought you here, but I'll give you a fair chance.
And the manager said that.
Let me finish. I'll give you a fair chance. So your son, 22, arrives at a new football club, right? 1 and 3 goal scorer, 21, 22 years old, and he's told that in front of all his teammates. What would you say to him? What would you say to him? Pack your bags, son, and get home. See if we can reverse the paperwork on that, okay? Now, say what you want, all right?
I mean, that deal had presumably been done then. But
that deal...
Graham had been here, did he?
Graham was here, and the deal was, we bring in Tom Nichols and we bring in Shaq. That was the deal.
Right, but did he not agree with that? He liked Shaq, did he?
Shaq was his. Yeah. Tom Nichols was the club's.
Was the club's.
Yeah, absolutely.
We do that sometimes. Then,
of course we do that.
You'll sign someone that the manager doesn't necessarily.
Gary Johnson brought in 2 players, and I got Lee Tomlin. That was the deal with Gary.
You did the best out of that.
Okay, with Darren Ferguson, Darren got another player, and I got Connor. You know, right, that's happened throughout. Let me finish. I brought Gailey in. And Gailey was meant to go back on loan and stay on loan with Dagenham. I wanted him in. The gaffer gave it a chance.
I think that's fascinating. So you will make decisions to bring players in?
Only if the manager agrees.
So Graham did agree about Tom?
Of course he did, as long as he got Shaq.
Did agree? I see. Yeah.
That's how it works.
So it's a tit for tat.
Of course, and sometimes
you can have Shaq.
Sometimes it'll be
Tom.
No.
Yeah.
I got Callum Chettle, he got Aaron Williams.
Right.
We tracked Callum Chettle for 2 years, and if you watch the game yesterday, you'll see why. 19, he's got a lot for the future. That's how it works sometimes at clubs. There's a recruitment process, there's a panel. Clubs like Watford have a policy that's a certain policy. Brentford have a policy where the club decides who comes in, and the coach and the manager get on with it. I've never brought a player, and you can ask Darren Ferguson, you can even ask Gary Johnson, who I don't talk to, that a manager wouldn't agree with. Do you know what I mean? But in this case, he didn't want Tom Nichols, no. But he was okay with Tom as long as Shaq came in as well.
Right.
Okay? Yeah. That's how it works in Peterborough United. Now, there were players in the summer again, the same with the gaffer. You know what I mean? You meet and you have discussion, you talk about a policy and a player that fits the profile for the club. And the gaffer's been backed on every player he's wanted this season. Every player. You know, I've disagreed with loads of players. Sergio Torres I disagreed with because of his injury record with Darren Ferguson. The gaffer wanted him, we paid the money. Serge averaged 19 games a year. Statistically, in my model, he was never going to play 30, 40 games.
That'd be the same this summer then.
100%.
Same process.
100%. Yeah. We went through, yesterday, we went through the recruits we need to bring in, the people we think that are going to make the difference, the guys with minerals that we think will help us get to the next level, you know?
We've got some players like that though, haven't we already? Bostwick, he's won a promotion, hasn't he? You'd never say he's
Bozzy's been here.
Minerals,
Bozzy's been here 6 years, you know, and we've stayed where we are.
Right. Okay, he's out of contract at the end of next season, isn't he?
He is.
Will he be offered a new one?
Look, Michael Boswick's a great guy, and he's a lovely guy, and he's settled and everything else. He's got a year left. Bozzy's on a good contract. I'm sure he'll want a better contract. That's a conversation we have whenever the season finishes. Right, do you know what I mean? So there are other players like that as well.
I mean, your policy's still in place. If they enter the last year of the contract, they will go on the transfer list.
If we can't come to an agreement on a contract, they have to go on the transfer list.
Right.
What did Ronald Koeman say about Ross Barkley last night?
sign or go, basically.
Sign or go on the list. You can't let a player run down his contract.
No. And the same applies with Marcus then, I guess.
100%.
One of your favourites?
Love Marcus.
Yeah.
But Marcus is probably going to go on the transfer list because there's no way I'm going to be able to meet what Marcus's agent will want, which he probably deserves.
That's an assumption rather than based on your
Based on my assumption that his agent's going to say the contract he signed 3 years ago, he's done this the last 2 years, assists and goals. This is what guys in your league who've done that are getting paid. Can you match that? No, we can't match that.
Is there any others coming into that last year?
Jack Bolden.
Oh, okay. The same apply with him? You like him as well, don't you?
We'd love
Good
Jack.
club man.
We'd love. He's a great club man. And if you found out what he did last week to play, and what he went through,
Grant did touch on it, didn't he?
Compared to other players who have David Nicol. Jack is, he's Peterborough United through and through.
Yeah. Will the same apply with him though?
Of course. If he wants more money or massive amounts more, Jack's fair. Jack's the type who will say to us, "I've had an injury issue. Haven't earned my money because I've been injured. I'll be fair to the club, you be fair to me. I don't foresee a problem."
Not started those negotiations.
No,
those conversations.
Everything will be at the end of the season because I want the gaffer to sit with the players and talk them through the process. Do you know what I mean? And whatever else, and his plans for the summer.
Are they the only three? Because we've got some out of contract, haven't we? Tiles, Dion.
Yeah, we've got Tiles, we've got Dion, we got an option on H. What else?
Got an option on Dion as well or not?
Yeah, 2-year option on Dion. Who else is there?
There's
Tiles obviously is out of contract.
Paul Taylor, yeah.
So
I would guess Paul Taylor won't be getting a new contract. Would that be fair? Or
yeah, that would be fair. I think it'd be fair, and he would know that as well. And I think it's fair to him.
Do you not like him very much?
I love Tiles. What are you talking about?
Does he see what you say on Twitter?
Read my book. I fought tooth and nails with Fergie and Rooster over Paul Taylor. They wanted to send him on loan to Stanford or whatever when we first got him, and I put my foot down and was like, that championship season he stays with us because I saw what he did pre-season. We need more for a player. You have to look at the cost versus the results. You need more, and he's a wonderful player on his day, and if he can do it 40 games a season and give us 15-20 goals and 15-20 assists, I'd do whatever I could to keep him. But I know the kind of money
he's had long enough.
He's had a year. He hasn't got double digits for goals, double digits for assists. We're 11th in the league. Did it justify the contract I gave him? No, I'll be honest, and he knows that. And what I say on Twitter about players, well, I'm honest. They know how I feel. They know the truth, and they can't argue with me, can they? Can he argue with me?
Not on your statistical appraisal, no, for sure.
So, and it's great, you can do whatever in a game and dribble around 20 players and do whatever else. But if it means we don't win, or there's no goal created or whatever else, does it justify the expenditure? Club our size, we have to be sensible.
Does Marcus theatrics get on your nerves at all?
Never.
He's
a maverick.
Yeah.
Listen, our team.
No one's ever said to him, for God's sake, cut it out, because you would have noticed he was lying
No, we've managed him, and he's been much better this season. Say what you want about previous seasons, do you know what I mean? You've got to understand he's the most targeted player in our league, and he's had ankle issues, and always those fouls. Where are they? The kicks on the ankle. And I get it, and sometimes he acts like a big girl's blouse.
My fear about him is that one day he will be really hurt, and no one's going to take any notice.
Of course, absolutely, and we've got that into him. And we speak to him about what opposition scouts say about him, and the way he's viewed. But at the end of the day, Swanee, I love Mavericks. The club's always loved Mavericks. We had Lee Tomlin, great Maverick players. Taylor was a Maverick when he first came here. They come with an edge. They have a few issues off the field. They give you a bit of drama, but you know what they give you most importantly? The business on the pitch. That's all that matters.
Is there another Lee Tomlin out there? Have we got our feelers out? Is Ricky Miller back on the radar again?
Mr. 40 goals.
40 goals, local boy, Dover.
Yeah, we inquired about Ricky in January,
did,
but their chairman wouldn't speak to us. It was an agent trying to do the deal, and it was very difficult to negotiate, so we left it. Ricky Miller, players like that, they've got clubs, they're with clubs to the end of the season. It'd be disrespectful to even talk about them, do you know what I mean? Of course his goal record speaks for itself, but you know what, he's probably after a king's ransom. There's probably clubs willing to offer more than we can pay, so we have to do our business well, we have to do it cleverly, and we have to do it
Are we a top half club with budget? What did you say 8th? Did you say the other day? Did I read that right? Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Top 8.
And yet it sounds like we're struggling to match the demands that our existing players or our possible future players.
Of course, because you've got a player on a contract from 3 years ago who's earning well, and he's done okay or done well the last 2 years, like a Marcus, and he can be offered 4 times that somewhere else. We can't get to that, not in League One. If we were in the Championship, a la what I did with George Boyd, we could. We can do that with one or two and have them, and keep them. I went way overboard to keep Boydie. So recruitment, it's like everything else. You've got a budget, there's a fine line, there's a way to do things, and there's a way to put us in trouble, and I wouldn't do that either. Do people want a football club like what's happened with Leyton Orient, where you've got strikers who are 37 earning £9,000 a week?
I did notice that just this morning, actually, I got an email saying there are 3 League One clubs who are financially distressed. Jeez. Meaning that they're on the...
Only 3?
That's what
only 3?
That's what this particular report said. But we're not one of them, are we?
No.
You're...
No, absolutely. Yeah. Distressed.
You started a new business, haven't you?
Do I look distressed?
Distressed? No, not at all. You look very well, sir. Okay. You started a new business, haven't you? Elegant.
Yes. Realty.
Doing well?
It's only started. Right. Only started in January.
But you had a 1.4 million... sale, didn't you? Dollars. I was reading on your Facebook page.
I noticed it was a MacAnthony. Done some sales.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, we started in January, but that's my business. And,
will that impact on the club eventually if you do as well as you were doing in Spain?
Of course, absolutely. If I do better in life, the club does better. But at the same time, we try and do things sensible. Nothing's changed since the good old days when I was making lots of money. I still put up and shut up. We still buy players. I mean, it's almost like just because we've had a few bad years, all the good things are forgotten. We've still spent a lot of money. Everyone asks about where did the Conor Washington money go?
They're not forgotten because we like to hark back about them, don't we? We'll never forget them.
Swanny, we spent nearly £1 million in players in January last year when we sold Conor. Don't forget there was a sell-on that had to go to Newport. They're all the factors that go with it. People think, £2.5 million sale. Breakdown, that's 2.5 million gross. It's not.
No.
There's sell-on.
Just like it wasn't
There's agents' fees.
5.5 for Brit, was it?
Of course not. Half of that went to Watford. Don't forget we paid 1.5 for him or whatever. So it's like everything else, and people like to say, 30 million, why don't we own the ground? Why don't we do this? Why don't we do that? Well, break the finances
You've
down.
been reading a certain person's Twitter feed, I think.
People send the stuff to me. They send it to me. And it's an agenda. I know what the agenda is, and I get it. I see it. I know it. It's a mistake. The person's made a big mistake.
What is it you actually see in Leo that makes you think he's going to be this multi-million-pound footballer one day playing in the Premier League?
I see what top people in the game see.
Right. Which is a player with unbelievable ability for his age at 18. A player who is not playing in his natural position because he's probably too young to play in his natural position. What's his natural position?
Number 10.
Number 10.
Absolutely. But to put the pressure on an 18-year-old to play number 10 a full season to try and get you promoted, it's a lot. So what he's doing is he's learning the game. And he could play anywhere in a midfield. He could play wide right. If you played in a 4-4-2, he could play wide right quite easily. Do you remember the Bury game? Yeah. We got out there and crossing. So I see a player who's got something special, can score special goals, can set up special goals. But what our fans are seeing at the moment, and drives Barry mad, is you're seeing a player who's more in a defensive mode because he's young, doesn't want to make mistakes. You finish. Right. He wants the safe pass option. But he's a player who has unbelievable passing range, unbelievable shooting, unbelievable vision for assists, pace, strength. If you look at how he's built next to a lot of... I would ask you to ring Carl Robinson, if you respect his opinion.
I do.
And ask Carl Robinson what he thinks. Forget my opinion, Barry's. Ring Carl Robinson and ask Carl what does he think of Leonardo.
He's not going to compare him to Dele Alli, is he?
Ring Carl.
At the same age.
Ring Carl. Carl Robinson, I told you what he did. He rang 2 Premier League clubs when we played them and told them what he told them.
About Leo.
He said he's the best prospect he's seen since he sold Delhi. He's not comparing him to Delhi, the type of player they are. The best prospect at his age in the Football League since he sold Dele Alli. That's Carl Robinson. I could name 2 other people, I'm not going to because it would give away some of the clubs or whatever else, who are top technical scouts and whatever else. You've got to remember his age, where he came from, and the amount of games he's played.
Manchester United was one, wasn't it?
I'm not even going to go into clubs. And people think, it's hype and he's average, he's this, he's that. Listen, let me tell you right now, the kid's got everything to be a great player, but he needs us to support him. And okay, we won't overhype him anymore, if that's what people think we're doing. But I'd love our fans to sing he's one of our own. Because I never hear that about any of our young players. And you can keep going on, you keep hyping them up. But forget about me hyping him up. He's one of our own. He's come from our youth team. Can we support him? Why can't we do that as a club? Your fans. Why can't we sing what Tottenham fans sing about Harry Kane? It amazes me. We brought Jermaine through. Jermaine finally, he was hammered. You remember that. And he finally came good at 19, started scoring goals, was a 6 and 5, looked like the real deal, and we're still not singing and supporting him.
I remember you moaning because I kept giving him 6 out of 10 once. Yeah.
Still not getting behind him. I saw 2 lads yesterday, 17, who've got so much potential to be special players.
Playing for the reserves.
Special. And again,
Borg.
And Lewis Freestone. Did you see Lewis Freestone? Why didn't you go to the game yesterday?
Oh, well, I could bore you with my working life.
I saw a left back yesterday who crossed the ball properly. Actually put balls into the box, not hitting the first man. All right, set up 2 of the goals. Is 17, is 6'2", big, strong, powerful. All he wants to do is get forward, score and create goals as a left back, and it's exciting to see. And he's positive. Borg comes on. What did I see in Borg? He's like another Erhan. Yeah. And he's got all the same. If you look at him, he's almost identical to Erhan. Have you seen him play yet? He's the same type of little player. And all he wants to do is get on the ball, go past players, score goals, create goals, wins a penalty, scores a goal, sets a goal up. Exciting. And it's great to see that. And I'm not trying to hype up to the fans and these are the next big thing. Get behind them.
Do these lads playing a midfield diamond? Is the midfield diamond one of these systems that's incorporated with all of our youth teams?
They all have 3 formations.
Groups, right.
They all have 3 formations they play. So the diamond's one of them, but they have 3 formations. And they have the flexibility to coach and teach them the formations. So the gaffer loves the diamond. Do you know what I mean?
Do you love the diamond?
The diamond's one of those formations you have to have the right personnel, and the players and the coaches have to know what they're doing. The gaffer knows what he's doing, but all of his coaches need to know what they're doing. You know what I mean? Fergie and his coaches knew the diamond inside out. And if you don't get it right, it leaves you exposed. And it can also make you look very plain. It can go sideways a lot, as a lot of our fans will moan. But when you get it right, it can be explosive and it can be fantastic. You look at the 2 games we won last year, explosive, fast, it worked. When Graham was here, it was Grant's diamond he was playing. You know, when we were scoring all the goals and doing well, that was the diamond that everyone now hates. That was our best football.
That's a purely manager's decision, though. You don't make it a condition of someone who comes.
Of course not. No. It was when Graham came in, Grant had put the diamond in for Oldham, kept it in for Bradford. Graham didn't. He saw it and he went with it. Do you know what I mean? Then in the new year, we started changing again, backwards and forwards. I think a good team to get promoted needs an identity. You've got your Boltons and Sheffield Uniteds play 3-5-2. That's their identity. Sometimes they'll change in a game to chase a game, but you need your identity. Grant stuck to the diamond this year because it has the most win percentage. Do you know what I mean? So will we play the diamond next year? I'm not sure. Do you know what I mean?
Did Legal ever understand the diamond?
I don't know.
Well, I think when I spoke to Barry about Lee's departure, he claimed
the 1-0 thing.
Yeah, exactly. He said he was his negative influence was rubbing off on players, etc., and was irritating you, I believe.
No, I think that was harsh. I don't think Barry said
Lee
that.
Saw that. He did. Yes, he did.
Did he?
Yeah, he did. And Lee disputed it when I spoke to him subsequently.
Okay.
What were your reasonings then?
Very simple. Something had to change. Needed a shake-up. It was an easy decision to fire the manager. I believed we needed to bring in experience to help Grant in the summer. We failed to do that. We tried. That was my fault. We didn't do it. Yeah. Grant picked Lee because he knew him from coaching courses. My worry was that Lee had never been a number 2. His goalie coach had never been a goalie coach. The people around him who'd stepped up, they'd never been in the front line, so to speak. And I really thought a really good experienced assistant behind Grant could really help him in so many ways. Yeah. Because when things are going wrong, things aren't working. Lee's never been there. He's never been in the trenches before. Yeah. And he's not the type of guy who would go in and hammer the team. Because if the manager keeps hammering the team, what happens? What happens?
Oh, they fall out.
They fall out, they stop listening. Your assistant sometimes needs to step up, correct? You step out, he steps up, you're the good guy, he's the bad guy. You can't be the bad guy all the time, right? So you need that blend. And I just felt, something needed to happen. I didn't want to fire Grant. I've a great belief Grant would be a tremendous young manager. And I just felt, let's just shake things up and send a message to everyone in there. Get your act together.
Did Grant know you were doing it?
100%. I ran. He wouldn't do it without. Of course he didn't back it. Of course he didn't. No manager is going to want their number 2 to go because they feel like I should be going, not my number 2. Of course he didn't back it. Of course he wasn't happy about it. I rang him and said, look, I want to get rid of your number 2. Right. In fact, I want to get rid of more than your number 2. I said, you need a shake-up. The players are sleepwalking. It's been like this since January. How do we shake things up? We either sit back and do nothing, or we try and shake something up. And I said, look, the reality is, Gaffer, any manager who's won 5 and 20 is going to get the sack, right? You'd agree with that? And he said, probably, the way the Football League is, you win 5 and 20, you're getting a sack. I said, well, I don't want to sack you. I said, but I do want to get rid of your assistant. I said, so you're not going to like it. I think it needs to happen. You do most of the coaching anyway. I said, so, you can now use this as something over the players and say, look, a good man's lost his job.
Which is what he said.
Absolutely. And that's your fault. The player's fault, which it is.
How's the from what you're just saying? I mean, are you not convinced that Mark Tyler's the right man for goalkeeping coach then, or?
Why did I say that?
Sorry, I thought you said his goalkeeping coach didn't have any goalkeeping coaching experience.
What I'm trying to say was he had a staff of players, or of people with very little experience.
Okay.
And there's too many of them.
But can we expect Mark to be around next year?
I would expect
Mark's got a playing contract.
I'm not sure he's going to get a playing contract, but we've got to talk to Mark about that.
And Dave Farrell also will be.
Dave Farrell's not employed by us. He's employed by the academy to coach with the under-23s and everything else. But Dave obviously works with us and helps out. Dave's a great stalwart for the club.
David Oldfield coming back.
Is this rumour that's got out today? Yeah, about David being the manager.
No, not the manager. Right, no, I've not heard that. No,
we spoke. Sky rang us today.
Who did?
And Sky said, "Oh, it's David Oldfield."
I heard what I heard was that he was coming back to help Grant for the rest of this season.
Right. Okay.
That's it. No, nothing more than that. Yeah.
So on Sunday when we met, we all said, "I said, right, give us the CVs. What you got for number 2?" Because we spoke about staff for next year. There were certain people we wanted to go after, and we don't think we could get. One of the 4 names was David Oldfield. So I said to Grant, I said, give Dave a ring. Obviously Jimmy's out of work and he goes everywhere with Jimmy. And best thing to do with David is tell him to come in to work as a number 2 with you so you can both see each other. See if he likes the club, see if you like what Dave, let him do the sessions with the players. And it's a great chance, almost like an audition for 4 games for a few weeks to get to know each other. And he might not like it, you might not like him. Yeah, 100%. But there's also other people coming.
Right.
This is a chance now to see, the problem is we've gone out and hired people and we haven't really got to know them. You never get to see what they're doing and whatever else. At least this time you get to see them and what's going on.
Can you say who else is coming? Or
no, because I haven't agreed it. We haven't agreed it.
We've agreed David, though.
David we love. We've always loved David.
He's not worked since QPR.
No. And David's a great guy and he's been great for the club. He always was when he here. And he's experienced. And David's gone to Burton and he's won promotion from League 2, League 1. He did great for Burton, you know what I mean, when they went up. And he was Jimmy's number 2 and he did a lot of work for Jimmy.
So come August then, it'll be Grant, possibly David, but certainly an experienced assistant manager.
100%.
Possibly Mark Tyler as your goalkeeping coach.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that will be it. Will it? A defence coach perhaps? Or
no.
Defensively been much better this year, haven't we?
Yeah, I think so. How many staff do you want? You know what I mean? On a bench. I think the problem Grant also has is he doesn't want loads of staff either. Because when you're a young manager, again, you need to be decisive. And what you don't need is, you don't need indecisiveness in your ears. You need to make decisions and you need to back your own beliefs. So I think somebody, whether it be a David Oldfield or somewhere of that ilk, will work very well with Grant.
Good. So I mean, the negative with Lee Glover, that was nothing to do with it. A bit of a red herring.
Lee Glover is a lovely guy.
Yeah.
And I'm actually speaking to Lee Glover this week. As I said, we'd have an exit chat and whatever else. And I have no problem with Lee Glover. And it wasn't about 1-0s, it wasn't about whatever else. Here's the reality with Lee Glover. He's been an assistant manager, he was an ex-striker, whatever else. Our strikers haven't done it this season. Of course I look around and I go, has the level of coaching improved our strikers? Has it improved our free kicks? Has it improved this? And I look around and go, it hasn't. So, of course, the coaches next are going to be on the line. They're employed and paid well to improve our players. Some people have to take responsibility.
Craig McHale-Smith?
Yeah, still brilliant.
Will he still be here?
I don't think so. I don't think we... Craig will again be on. I mean, Craig's on big dough at Luton. And I think Craig's expectations will be to do well contract-wise, because obviously his final contract, where he goes next. And I think we're giving him a platform to do that. Would Craig love to come here? Absolutely. It would be unfair for me to say yay or nay on that.
From you, by the sounds of it, then from obviously his past deeds,
there
club
can't be
legends.
sentiment here, but you know what? Craig is brilliant for the club. What I've said to Craig and Amber, his wife, is you've got to do your coaching badges, and I'd be delighted for you to come and do that at the club. Do you know what I mean? And if Grant wants Craig as one of his 4 strikers next year, of course I'll consider it. And we haven't taken that off the table or put it on the table yet.
No, I mean, again, it's another decision for the summer then, yeah?
Of course.
I mean, do you think the Lee Angle's move to Lincoln will benefit the club at the moment? Would he have been better here?
Would he?
Trying to form a partnership with someone ready for next season?
Yeah, I mean, Lee's got so much potential and he needs that boot up the ass because he's got everything. He's quick, he's strong, he's powerful. When he gets on a run of scoring, he's brilliant, and then he goes off it. He has to keep it consistent. And, he got that injury, he came back, didn't do great in the games he came back. And that boot up the ass to go out and play games at Lincoln and get kicked in that league and whatever else has done him the world of good. And he's a talent. So I don't know what we're going to do with Lee when he comes back in the summer. Do we sell Lee? Do we keep Lee? Again, he's got a year left next year. So we don't know what the expectations are from his agent.
Will we have to sell to
of course
to rebuild?
We'll have to, 100%. If we want to rebuild, of course we're going to have to sell. Absolutely. Do we need to sell because we need to pay bills? No. We need to sell for a couple of reasons. One, we need to rebuild in certain areas. Two, the dressing room needs a shake-up. And three, it's time for some players who are good enough to play higher to go higher. They've gone as far as they can with Peterborough, and they need that step up now.
Is anyone sniffing around Marcus in particular, do you know?
There's always people
sniffing. There was Villa rumour, wasn't there? Leeds rumour in the past.
Brian Little from Villa came to watch him, and he wasn't great in the 2 games he came to watch him. I could never see Villa buying him. I don't think they'd be brave enough to buy Marcus, do you know what I mean? But I believe he could walk into most championship sides because every manager wants a player who can score and create
What do you
goals.
think you'll get for him?
I don't think
we'll
get...
What do you want for him?
Well, obviously, look, he's got a year left, so we have to do what we can, the best we can. 2 managers the other night at the awards do. We're talking about Marcus, of course. Do you know what I mean? And what they can do and have they got the money and blah, blah, blah. So I don't know. If he doesn't go, we'll play out his last year and he'll have to play the best year of his career. Yeah. We'll take that risk because he's worth that risk.
You would do that, would you?
I would do that with him.
Yeah.
If it wasn't good enough.
But you'd think you'd sell him though, wouldn't you?
I think so. Yeah.
Just one other on the squad, Dion Moore. I think Grant McCann claimed he was the real deal in September.
Sure.
What went wrong with him? Bit of off the field issues?
I don't want to talk about him.
Oh, okay. Is he still with us?
No.
He's gone.
I don't want to talk about him.
Okay.
I don't even want to give his name airtime.
Okay. Agent father problem?
No comment.
Okay. Darragh MacAnthony, no comment. Do you get that? What about the ground? How's that going? Are we still negotiating hard with the city council to try and get these rent reduced?
We're trying to find that 16.7 million they value it at, so I'd like to buy it. You know? No, we're speaking to the council. Have been brilliant in fairness the last 6 months, and they understand the goal we're trying to work towards. And I've read a lot about councils who haven't been good to football clubs and whatever else. They've been good with us, and we're trying to be good to them. They know we overpay for the ground. They know the reasons we ended up overpaying for the ground at the time, and we're doing everything in our power to do 2 things. The main aim is to buy the ground. Certain things have to happen for us to buy the ground, and I'm meeting another bank tomorrow to help finance that. Okay. I will have to obviously put up X amount, and the bank's going to come in with some because we've got an asset, and that's the goal for me, is to buy the ground. And we are not just killing dead money all the time on the place. 16
million?
No, it's listen, you get valuers. That was a year, 2 years ago. They come in and they don't value.
Have
it
you
as a
agreed
football ground.
without saying what it is?
Have
you agreed?
Yeah, we're close. Yeah. We're close.
Is it near the £8 million that
we're close? Again, it would be unfair because I don't want to comment and create an uproar over things. Look, it's really important for us to try and buy the ground. Council don't want to own a football ground. Council they've no business to want to own a football ground.
What would that mean to you and the club then if we got it back?
It would be brilliant. It would be brilliant, and I wouldn't put it into a separate company like every owner does. It would be part of Peterborough. So and it would be great for the club. It would be a momentous day, and it would give us flexibility to do a lot in the future. And you talk about selling players, and that's another reason you might want to sell players and do whatever, is because that's more important than anything else. You know what I mean?
Would you sell it? I mean, would you give up a couple of years of trying to get promoted?
I would never give up. No, never.
But would you?
Would I give up 1 year to guarantee buying the ground? Yes.
You would.
Yes. Because I think it's that important. I think.
Don't get relegated.
Not bottom half. But it's I'd settle for missing out last day. But I think it's that important to the club, to the fans, to own its own ground. I would give a year up. So let's call this year the year I've given up.
Yes. All the year before.
Definitely. Yeah. Oh, Jesus. What's happened to him today? What's going on? Has he got an earpiece from someone? Has he feed him in there?
I mean, are you happy with the way the council's handled the situation? So, I mean, because you did have some issues with them, didn't you, over the rent?
Of course.
I think there was a falling out in the past, wasn't there?
It wasn't a falling out. It was just me being quite honest with them.
Right.
That, look, we've done our study. There's 20 council-owned grounds in England. This is what they pay. This is what we pay. Here you go. Here you go.
Because you once famously produced that dossier. You wouldn't show it to me, would you, of how much money this club brings to the city? Because obviously our gates are not.
You laughed at that, didn't you?
I didn't laugh because you never showed it. I laughed because you wouldn't show it to me after making a big thing of it.
It cost me a lot of money, that dossier.
Yeah, because we were getting gates of 5,000 at the time, probably in a city of 180,000. So there's an awful lot of ratepayers that the council need to look after that don't particularly care about the football club.
They don't, but it brings millions in every year to the city.
Yeah.
It does.
What did it say in that dossier then?
10 million in the championship a
10
year.
million.
10 million.
In how?
How?
Yeah.
Okay, the way they did it was like a 50-page report. Swansea had one done similarly when they had their stadium done with the council. And what it does is it projects the jobs created around the city, particularly on weekends when there's games. It based off how many people travelled, away supporters included, to our games on a weekend, staying in the city, eating in the city, using the car park, all the things that go with it. And they came to a figure, I think it was 10.2 million over one season in the championship it was worth to the city. League One was, I think it was like 4.5 million it was worth. So people talk about they don't care about it and they don't care about the stadium. Trust me, this has a value, this football club, to the city of Peterborough. And you only have to see that when we have a trip to Wembley or a playoff final to attend. You know.
And the council accepted that figure then, did they?
Accepted, not accepted, it didn't make any difference. You know what I mean? They understood. They got what we were trying to justify. They can understand.
It sounds like you're getting closer together though than you were on that day.
We've had some good meetings with them. I think we're at a place where they want to do something, we want to do something, and it's A, finding the money, B, making it happen logistically, and the end goal being we want to own the ground. We've just thrown millions down the drain in rent.
Yeah. Any idea when that might happen? Or?
No idea. No idea, to be fair.
But
if we sell Leo tomorrow, maybe.
Well, yeah.
But you know, the fans can keep booing him out there, or maybe they could turn around and sing he's one of our own and help buy the ground back. There you go.
Yeah. Someone did tell me that we ought to make Barry Fry pay something towards buying the stadium back since he lost it in the first place. But how did you know?
Because I know
Remarkable.
everything. I know everything.
Yeah. What do you say to him?
I don't understand. I don't understand the question.
I mean, you obviously realise. I mean, Barry, I think, was here, wasn't he, running the show when the club went into different, the stadium went into different ownership. You understand why he did that? Do you know why he did it?
I know, and I know the story. I know the truth. I know what happened. I wouldn't employ somebody and keep somebody close to me all those years if I felt they did what people say they did. So I'm an intelligent guy. Nobody pulls the wool over my eyes. You know, I'm 41, and even at 29, 30 when I bought the club, I was intelligent enough to know what I was getting into, and everything Barry's done, and I did a tribute earlier on to him, is a credit to him in football. So people can blame him for the ground. Again, we're living in the past. What's the point? What's the point? Ian, what's the point living in the past, pal? So, you know, you're living in the past there about the ground, but you don't give me any time over the past success I've brought. You want to live in the now. So forget about what happened with the ground and live in the now.
Why? Yeah. Facilities wise, any chance of improvement? Catering wise, you tested the catering, didn't you? What did you think?
I tested catering.
You're
Okay, 6 out of 10.
6 out of 10.
Yeah, I had a kebab the other night here and I got food poisoned. First night in Peterborough.
Oh, not here?
No, not in the
outside.
ground. Just outside.
Because you bought one of these properties, have you?
Yeah, well, I've moved into one of them, yeah. So, you know, to be closer to the club, spend a lot more time.
So you tested everything on that catering menu?
I did, yeah. I ate everything on the catering menu. And we did it as a dummy run. They didn't know it was for me. So I sent someone out, you know, mystery shopper.
Changes there next year then? Or?
Yeah, there's going to be changes, you know, and you know, there's lots about the catering that's not right, and not having a credit card facility to buy a drink or some food is ridiculous. So that's all been changed as well. So there are changes. Can we spend money on improving the facilities? We can. Will we? No, because we don't own the place. Can't keep throwing good money after bad.
One of your big grouses with them, I think, wasn't it? Was the repairs and stuff like that, because you were still having to do that, weren't you?
Fortunes.
Yeah.
Even
though you're not the landlord.
Do you know what I paid? There's a probation office around the corner.
Yeah.
When we took over the lease, that was, we were getting income from there. In rates, it costs us 30 grand a year, and it's empty. Just in rates, it's probably bigger than your mortgage each month, right? For that probation office, 3 grand a month. Do you see where the dead money's gone?
Yeah.
For a ground we don't own.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, you're glad you got the ground back, though, aren't you? Away from the people who owned it, though.
Sure, but we paid them 70 grand a year.
Yeah.
You know? So glad yes, glad no, you know?
Right, you'll no doubt not be surprised that one of the biggest bugbears from people who email me with questions for you this week is over season tickets.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, are you able to reveal how many we've sold so far for next season?
I think the way I look at it is,
I think you said 20 fewer, didn't you? On
we were basically 20 down,
yeah.
And this morning we had a meeting about it again, and I think we're at, I want to say 2.8. This time last year we were at 2.910. So now
You sold 2,800. Does that please you?
You're like surprised.
I am surprised.
We're right on where we need to be. Yeah. I don't know why people are surprised. We have two numbers we always look for, Swanny.
Yeah.
Revenue
Yeah.
and number of season tickets sold. And last year it took up until July before we hit just under, I think it was 3.8, 3.9 in total. So we're exactly where we thought we'd be.
I'm surprised because
Why?
of all the moaning, you see, that people do, but it's the moaners that get heard. I mean, I've had emails galore. I've had criticism for defending the fact. I mean, you've got no regrets
I've
about
got 5 letters in there
Yeah.
from older fans about obviously the over 60s and whatever. It's not renewing, we're not renewing. So I took them downstairs and said, can you pull up these names? They've renewed. Because I was going to ring them myself.
So you
know what I mean? It was like I got my hate mail today. I get handed like a
renewed
thing of mail.
before you.
They wrote the letter and then renewed 2 weeks later. Right. So I get hate mail when I come over. Like I get handed the folder, which I got today.
So there's no regret on the £50 increase on a senior season ticket in the 2 main stands.
I apologise they're upset. I apologise that it's wound them up. I would say to them that, like you said, and quite rightly so, they've had it really good. You know, for years and years, and 60 and whatever is a young age still. It's actually a younger age now than it was years ago, so to speak. You know what I mean? It's I think it's fair price, and I think, you know, what we're trying to do, and we are trying to bring the next generation of fans through. Those experienced fans have been with us through thick and thin. If they really see it for what it is, they'll understand what we're trying to do. It's not going in my pocket. It's not going on a star signing. We're trying to improve everything, everything. And I know it's going to upset some, but I would say to them is give us a chance. You've had it pretty good. We haven't hit you where it hurts for a long time. Now you're going to have to start paying the piper a little bit.
I mean, they would come back, and they have to me by saying that, you know, they have been those supporters through the bad times in the 80s.
And I need them
Perhaps
again.
They deserve a bit of a reward.
No,
right.
But they've had a reward because they've had that price and that fixed thing where they haven't been hurt like everyone else has with rises. You know what I mean? And we've looked after them really well. And what I'm saying to them is they're successful people, most of them. They've done well out of life. And now they have to see the long term of what we want to do, including buying the ground, what it's good for. It's been done for the right reasons. It's not been done for greedy reasons.
Right. So, I mean, would your target be to match this season's?
100%. That's what we wanted to do. Target was to match the season ticket sales and have the revenue up a little bit.
Excellent.
So, you know, I know everyone wants to tweet and talk about, I've heard loads of people haven't read, I've heard season tickets aren't going really well. I'll put it out there for any fan. Come in, have a look at our computer system in the ticket office if you don't agree or you don't believe me. But make a bet with me before you do it.
Who came up with the arrangements for the Chelsea sale of the tickets?
Not me.
No.
But I'll take responsibility.
Right. I mean, because it was
badly handled.
Words, yeah.
Badly handled. Really. And it's every time we have a great occasion, we screw it up and badly handle it. And I'm fed up with that. And again, you'll see...
But generally, throughout the season, your ticket staff are praised to high heaven, aren't they?
Ticket staff are brilliant.
Yeah.
You know, well, Chris is brilliant.
Yes.
You know, Tom does a brilliant job in there behind the scenes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you know, the reality is Chelsea was badly done. It was a screw up, and then there was technical issues. We spent a fortune and all of that. And I'm looking. I am
dumping Ticketmaster.
It's not. We're under contract. We're looking at alternatives so when we can go and do alternatives. I want to build our own
for
system.
Another season.
I want to build our own system, even if it costs us a fortune.
Are we still contracted to the next season?
We are. Yeah.
Beyond that, or
no?
No. Okay, so we can expect a change then, probably if
I'm
things
trying
go
right
well.
now. So you ask the guys. Trust me, I'm trying to force things through. Do you know how difficult it is to change mindsets and change people who are stuck in their ways? And it's very, very difficult, but it needs to be done. And it's like one step at a time. Rome wasn't built in a day.
£28 possibly to watch a League One game next year here?
Sure.
Do you think that's fair? The standard of football?
You keep going on about the standard of football. Tell me what you want.
Generally.
Tell me, but you keep
League
bringing
One
the standard
not
of football.
necessarily posh.
Tell me what football do you want?
I'd love to see.
What do you want? You want what I want? 5-3.
Your first
goals.
5 years.
Oh, okay, we're going back to that. Okay. Did you not like the 6th year where we nearly won the double?
6th year?
Yeah, when we won the JPT. You keep talking about the first 5 years. Did you not enjoy the JPT?
JPT was lovely.
Right. Did you not enjoy the playoffs, losing the Leighton Orient?
I'll give you 6 years then.
Okay. Did we win 10 of the first 12 games? Do you see the way people try and erase even that year from history? Because it suits the narrative of that's a year in decline.
I called that an epic failure.
Right? No. Forget me. As a fan, is it an epic failure for anyone in League One?
Not for anyone else, but as us, yes.
Okay, as us, yes.
See,
but he's trying to erase it.
Coach my son.
Yeah,
He did call it an epic failure.
The spawn, they're bringing it up. Go in. Hit that trap door, will you? Hello, Jesus.
Yeah. But you did describe it as an epic failure that time, didn't you?
Of course.
Yeah. No, I enjoyed Wembley. It was good. Yeah, it was good. What would you do with the Checker Trade Trophy next year?
I hope it's still going.
I think it's brilliant.
Yeah, but not in this form.
No. Has to change. Unless they pay us a fortune. We're all whores in this game.
Did they pay you a fortune this year?
Not enough.
No.
Not to go through it all the hassle.
We made more than we would normally.
Yeah, but we'd have to change
a long way,
they need to lose the league format. They need to lose fining us for playing kids, which is ridiculous, which is contradictory when you got under 23s playing kids and then we get fined for playing kids. Barry's up there today. There'll be stuff happening today.
Oh, is it?
That's why he's not here, so I have no idea what's going on, but he knows how I stand on it.
Okay. Yeah, so you want it, obviously, but
I love
just
that
in a
trophy
different form.
Because I think you ask Coventry and Oxford fans who've gone, Oxford have made £1 million the last 12 months being there twice.
Anyway, 28 quid.
28
quid.
next
year? We didn't answer that, did we?
No.
Why?
Okay, why?
Well, how are you justifying that?
How are we justifying that?
It's just for walk up, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. So it's 26 quid in advance or whatever else. I justify it whereby we looked at the season ticket matrix, and if we didn't raise the on-the-day price, it would be very difficult to justify an early bird without the early bird going and buying a season ticket. Because you would say, well, I'll just go buy a normal match day ticket. So there had to be a raise. I looked at the fact that we are trying to buy the stadium. We are trying to make improvements, and unfortunately, yes, prices have to go up to help that happen. Can't all be on me. And I looked at where I thought, you know what, we'd have a good... I had a funny feeling we'd finish the season stronger, and I still fancied us to be top 6. Up until a month ago. I just felt we'd come strong.
It'd be some sort of progress if we managed to finish above 13th, wouldn't it, and stop the decline?
Listen, you tell
63 points the last 2 seasons?
Yeah.
Can still beat that?
I said to Grant the other day, do you want to beat Graham Wesley's total of 63 last year? That's
and
the
what
challenge.
did he say?
Listen, he looked at me like I had 2 heads. He still believes that he'll get to 70 points. So, yeah. I mean, I guess it will stop the naysayers about the decline. It'd be nice to stop the decline so it doesn't keep getting brought up, the word decline. I like your articles when you used to write the good ones about the best 10 years we've had and blah, blah, blah.
That was only 3 weeks ago.
Since you've had a few people in your ear, you've changed the tone, but that's okay.
I'm just playing. I'm just playing devil. I've got to respect my readers. I've got to look after them.
They think you're in my pocket, obviously.
Well,
so
they do.
Give
A lot of them do.
As you get today. I understand. I get it.
Going back to, I'll run through some of their questions now. These Chinese whispers that we had before Christmas about, or was it in the summer, I think, when there was Chinese interest in buying out the club? Was that ever serious? Did it ever get very far? Was it Koreans?
Yeah. No.
Right. No.
Not serious. No.
Never got as far as an offer.
No.
I mean, is there any situation you can see where you would actually sell the club?
Of course.
Would it be a financial decision purely for you, or?
No, it wouldn't be. It wouldn't be financial. It would be emotional.
Yeah.
It would be like what's happened today with you.
Right.
You know, where people turning on me.
Right. Okay.
That would be the reason.
Right.
Seriously, I'll just get to the stage where something will be that final tip over, and I'd be like, I don't need this. I don't need to be missing my 3 kids and wife and be sat in Peterborough getting abused.
Does Twitter irritate you then?
No.
Do you actually enjoy that cut and thrust on a Saturday night when they come for you after a defeat?
I'm fine with it. You know, I'm a big boy. I know why you know, at the end of the day, there's a lot of trolls out there. Listen, it's the mass majority are great, and the minority who are trolls, and then there's those with their agendas and who want to do what they want to do. All I'll say to you is, and I won't be here forever, be careful what you wish for. You know?
Which was the headline on my article 3 weeks ago.
Yep, there you go. But I guess they'll find that out.
You've still got £5 million in loans knocking around, haven't you, in the club, I think, according to the last accounts.
6 to 7?
6 to 7.
I wouldn't even know.
You're relaxed about that?
Yeah, I mean, well, listen, what am I going to do? Put the club into administration tomorrow? You know, it's like, I am like those foreign owners that I see what's happening in the game. And that's, you know, I wear my heart on my sleeve, I'm honest, you know, probably too honest.
Would you say you're victims of your initial success at the moment then?
Yeah, of course, because you deliver and you give people, it's like you're married to a woman and you give her the standard. You're giving her the best steak in the world. I'm not talking about it that way. You're giving her which my wife gets that every night from me. But you're giving her the steak, the champagne. You're giving her the caviar, the oysters. You're taking her on the best holidays. You're flying on private jets, and then all of a sudden you're taking holidays in Torquay. You're going on travel buses, and she's getting salad every night. Now, do you think our satisfaction levels are the same from here to there? Of course they're not. So I get it with fans. They're used to the playoffs, they're used to the goals, they're used to Wembley trips, they're used to all the good things that happened in those 6-7 years, not 5. And including relegations, the excitement of getting relegated by Crystal Palace, you know, after going all the way. And they're used to all of that. So now what they're used to is they're used to competing to a point and falling away. Is that fair to say? Yeah, competing to a point, then falling away.
That's in other words, the norm.
In other words, not the norm. It's become the last couple of years where we can't close the deal out. So that's what it's become, and that's what we have to change. So is that the worst that can happen to a football club? No. It's just something that we need to fix. Are we set in stone to be like that forever? Of course not. You know, we need to fix the issue.
Are you surprised you're still here after 10 years? When you came in 10 years ago, did you think you'd still be...
Yeah. I mean, I do things for, you know, I'm one of those people that longevity and I'm a committed guy, you know. So am I surprised I'm still married after 11 years? It'd be the same question, do you know what I mean? It's like, you know, when I make a commitment, and I'm a real creature of habit. And you know, when I enjoy something and whatever, I'm there. So I'm not really surprised now.
Yeah. I mean, in the 10 years at the club, what's irritated you most about football? Do you think, in general, and about Posh in particular, or what's happened at Posh in particular?
What's irritated me? There's so much in football irritates me.
Player power, agents. Do they irritate you?
You know, loan players from the Premier League, under 21s, the entitlement, the money they get, the way the clubs act, the way the clubs behave, the fact that League 1 and League 2 clubs are treated like paupers of the football industry compared to the Premier League and the Championship, the disparity in the leagues, the standard of officiating hasn't risen in the 10 years I've been in the league. The lack of goal line technology or football technology, because I'm a big proponent of that. Being in America with American sports, the agents don't bother me as much. The foreign owners that have come in and some of the things they've done and the way they operate and whatever else, that's irritated me a lot. What else has irritated me?
People turning on you?
Yeah, people of course, people turning on me and people... I can understand if...
Do you get a good deal from the Peterborough United public there in general? You must feel the love, surely.
Listen, the other night I was in the city after Saturday, I had a coffee after Coventry,
right.
and I had 5 different couples on date nights come over and ask me to join them for dinner. You know what I mean?
After Coventry?
That was after Coventry, so yeah, of course I do. Then I had a couple of who obviously came over and was giving me a bit of abuse as well, but you know, of course I feel the love and whatever else, but yeah, of course it gets to you. It does, I'm not going to lie. You know, some of the pops that are coming and where they're coming from and because of what's behind where they're coming from makes my blood boil. And I'm one of those people that when you cross me, I'm coming for you. Mightn't be today, mightn't be tomorrow, but trust me. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm like also, and that makes me who I am. And some of that does wind me up. So, but listen,
so that would
doesn't
be your
kill you, makes you stronger.
That would be your biggest Posh irritation over the last 10 years then? Would be that, yeah.
Definitely.
Do you not feel you're given the credit you deserve then?
No.
Really?
Definitely not.
By a minority? Or
probably. I think I've done great things in football. I think, you know, what I've done for a club like Peterborough and what I've brought to the industry and the policy, and other clubs have taken it on and copied it. I think I've done a lot of good things in football. I think I've done a lot of good for non-league and lower leagues clubs. A lot of good players out there have gone up to top levels because we took a chance on them and whatever else, and you could ask them. Yeah, probably don't. But listen, you don't get into football to get credit and you know all of that. You get into it to win. You know, you get into it to be successful and enjoy it, and enjoy the product, and enjoy the football, and you know, enjoy who you work with.
Have you enjoyed it much this year?
I've enjoyed working with Grant.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed periods up till Christmas. I haven't enjoyed it since Chelsea. So there has been lots of points this year. I've really enjoyed it.
What's the thing you've done? I mean, the way it was worded to me here was you made some big shouts over the last 10 years for this football club.
Sure.
What's the one you're most proud of that you've pulled off here?
Cool.
Aside, obviously, from winning so many promotions early on, and did you expect to be that successful so quickly?
Yeah. I guess. Do you know what? Probably 10 years ago, 11 years ago, not a lot of away fans would fear playing Peterborough, right? In League 1 or League 2. Then you know they would expect to turn up and beat Peterborough.
Yeah.
And probably one thing I'm probably proud of giving Peterborough is that a lot of away fans in our league would always see us, no matter what you think, in the decline and the this and the that, as a promotion rival. And they'd always pay us the respect of being, oh, we're nervous. You see it on Twitter. We're playing Peterborough today. They could smack. You know, you could say, well, you're living on your reputation, But you've asked me what I think I've given the club in 10 years. I think I've given us a reputation of a club to be feared at times, instead of a club that's going to get hammered when we play them. Is that fair to say?
Yeah. A lot of these players that you've helped on their way, I mean, they're still in touch with you?
Definitely.
Boyd?
Yeah, Tomlin, Gale, Boyd, Brett, you know, all of them, you know, but I'm a bad guy, right? Players, you know.
No, I think you're over dramatic at times, to be honest.
You asked, I am. I'm a drama
queen. I think you're over dramatic. I wouldn't say paranoid, but a little bit over dramatic, about sensitive.
I've been like
too
that
sensitive
all my life. Yeah. All my life. I wouldn't say sensitive. I would say definitely paranoid and dramatic.
Would you?
Yeah.
You're paranoid.
Oh, all the time.
You think they're out to get you?
No, not everyone's out to get me. Out to knock me down and want what I have. Right. Paranoid's always driven me. It's fine.
That's perhaps in your business life, not surely here at Peterborough United.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere. Business in Peterborough United's the same. Personal's the same. I live life the same. You know, it's never been any different.
And what about the big decisions you've made that didn't come off? What's been the biggest disappointment?
Live and die by them.
Do you?
Yeah.
Is there one you could single out that?
Yeah, getting rid of Darragh the first time.
Yeah, that shouldn't have happened.
Yeah, definitely not.
We had gone bottom of the league that night, hadn't we?
Doesn't matter. Shouldn't have happened. I should have given him more time, you know, and a relegation if necessary. Taking his resignation the second time when we got relegated at Palace, but I didn't want it to end that way. But he was tired, and he definitely needed a period out of the game. Other regrets.
And then probably kept him a bit too long as well, didn't you?
I just, you know what, after that season of winning the JPT and coming sixth, it was probably then the time to say, listen, go take a break, you know what I mean? So, but he's got his mojo back now, so I'm delighted for him. What other regrets are there? Yeah, there's probably lots of regrets and lots of things have happened that you look back and go, geez, I wish I had a time machine, but I don't have a time machine. You know, you have to live and die by everything you do, and I don't make decisions based on consensus decision making where you ask 15 people, what should I do? I make the call, you know, and you're the owner, you're the chairman for a reason, so you have to have the minerals to make the big calls. Have every one of them been right? No. Have they been done for the right reason? Of course they have. It's always with the best in mind for the club. And I think I'd like to say I've made more good decisions than bad decisions.
I mean, if those Italians really were behind it,
that'd be a bad decision.
You would leave with head held high, would you, and proud of what you've achieved here?
That's not for me to answer. What would you say?
I'd say you should, yes.
Would you grade it as an 8 out of 10?
What,
in your Swann player markings?
Oh, no.
No? 6 out of
9
10?
9 out of 10 for 6 years.
All right, and then it's 4. 1 out of 10.
Then you're down to 4.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I'm joking. Of course you would. Yeah. Interesting scenario. Someone sent me here. Grant McCann resigns tomorrow, Thursday, and you've got to sort out the team and tactics for Friday. What would you do differently, if anything? I thought that was a terrific question.
What would I do differently? Well, I've never in my life, I've been in that situation, and I've always either found a coach inside the club. I'd probably ask Barry to put his tracksuit on for one night.
Oh my goodness.
If I had a gun next to my head, what would I do? Jeez.
Do you think you'd be a good manager?
I think I'd be good at anything I do. I've always been like that. I always feel that way. I'm not trying to be disrespectful to football management.
Could you go into a dressing room and motivate?
Yeah, I could go into a room full of dead
corpses. You've never done it, have you?
And motivate.
Did you?
Never.
You've never done it, have you?
Never in my life.
Not even when we were 4-0 down to Cardiff, because that was the big rumour at the time, at half-time, that you stormed in there.
I was in there puking.
Yeah.
Right. Because I'd just been nearly knocked someone out for calling me an Irish gypsy in the stands. And apparently the rumour was Mark Cooper was with his dad having a cup of tea downstairs, and the players sorted themselves out. That's what the rumour was. Then it was I was down there. And I've never been... I'll tell you the first time I felt like going into the dressing room. Saturday against Coventry, when the game was over, to go down and say, thanks very much, let me take all those beach towels and strangle you. All right? That's the first time probably in all the years. But I would never do it, no matter what's written and said about me. And he picks teams, he's down in the dressing room. Not in a million years would I go near a manager's dressing room. Would I pick a team for Friday night and pick tactics? Of course I wouldn't. What would I do if I was asked to? I'd probably be a boring 4-4-2 with out and out width, wingers and pace. That's kind of me as a football fan. When we won our first promotions, it was kind of the formation I liked. Do you know what I mean? The diamond was great in our second promotion. Has it done well for us when we were in the championship at first? Yes, it did. I haven't got an affinity. My only affinity has always been is to make sure we got plenty of strikers on the pitch. I like goals. You know, I'm not a fan of 4-2-3-1. You know, I never have been. So, but that doesn't mean my managers are told you must play this formation and it's in their contract.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll believe you.
All right, Grandad.
I'll believe you. Some people might not. How would you sum up Grant's performance this season? And what would you
he asked me that on Sunday.
Did he? What did you give him? Did you give him a 7?
What would I give him?
Is it taking 6 as average?
I think
4's a stinker.
No.
10's perfect.
No, I won't answer that till the 4 games are over.
Okay.
I think it's only fair.
Far?
Give him the 4. Yeah. I think if he wins the next 4 games, I would give him a 7 out of 10. For what he's had to deal with, his first year in management. I would say as a rookie, if he won the 4 games, he was top 10. It was a very, very good effort, and it gives us a lot to build on for next year. If he doesn't win the 4 games or whatever else, that's a different grade.
We're down to 5.
Wouldn't be that harsh. You know?
I'll email you. I think we did that one. Fergie aside, would you say you've been unlucky with your choice of posh manager?
I've probably been crap with my choice of posh managers occasionally.
As this chap was going on to say, you're starting to believe your judgment is flawed.
My judgment's flawed. Yeah. I look back and I go, Jim Gannon, great manager. Great manager. A little bit out there and people are a bit with his tactics and this and that, but I think a very, very good manager. And I think he'll get Stockport out of non-league eventually. Mark Cooper, good manager. Too early. If I got Mark Cooper 2 years later, I think he would have been very good for Peterborough. Gary Johnson, good manager, won lots of promotions, took Yeovil to the championship. It just didn't work. Were those recruits wrong? I'm not sure they were. Dave Robertson, mistake. No disrespect to him. And I'm sorry he lost his job at Sligo, but that was a mistake. I'll give everyone that one. Shouldn't have happened. It was a lazy mistake from me. But I think he'll be back in football, and I hope he's back in football working. Do you know what I mean? Graham Wesley, I didn't want to see him. He flew out to see me, pestered me, came out, and he wasn't what I expected. And we got on well. It was a good start. And he bought into what the club was doing until he didn't.
And that was the end of that. What do you like about Grant?
I watched Scunthorpe and we lost 2-0, and I decided there and then I was going downstairs.
What do you like about Grant? Do you think he's learnt anything from working with?
Loads. He credits working with Graham, and he credits, obviously he's been at the club working in a role, and people try and say, well, he failed with Dave and he failed with Graham or whatever. It's not failure. They lost their jobs. They didn't win promotion. So that's just the way it is. Do you feel closer
to him than you were with Darren?
I would say I have a very close relationship with Grant. Time will tell how close we will be, but I think there's a mutual respect. I speak to him a lot more than I spoke to Darren. Yeah. He always wants to learn. He's got the work ethic, he's got the attitude, he's got the creativity, he's got the mind for it, he's got the strength for it, he's definitely got the minerals for it. And I think if we give him the right ingredients, staff, player-wise, I think he could be magnificent for the football club.
How long's he got to sort it out?
He's got next season to sort it out. He knows that. He's a football manager. He knows.
Season?
All season? No, he knows that. No, of course not. No. Because you give a rookie a chance, you give him the first year, you back him, you go and back him again. He knows he has to, we have to be competing. If by January, February next season we're not competing, we're out of it and whatever else, he knows as a football manager what's going to happen. Do you know what I mean? And he'd sit here and tell you that himself.
And your friendship with him wouldn't...
He said to me the other night, he said, I can't believe
making.
How close you with the gaffer. And I said, Grant, I'm meeting Graham Wesley on Wednesday for a coffee, and I'm having dinner at Steve Evans' house tomorrow. He's like, he went white, you know what I mean? Whatever. And I said, you got to understand. I said, whatever's written about me or said about me, I get on well with all ex-managers. Bar Gary Johnson, he's pretty much the only one. And I wish him well, obviously, after his surgery that I haven't really spoke to. So, take me how I am. I'm not the worst in the world. No. And, even Darren said the other night at Grant, listen, you've got best chairman you're going to get. Nice compliment. So, and I like to think Darren winning the award the other night, I plucked Darren from obscurity, and helped turn him into a very, very good young manager. And I'm proud of him. He's gone on to, what a job he's done, But he's had his highs and lows, and I said that to Grant. He's been sacked 3 times. He's been relegated 3 times. You chose this career, are you mad?
I'm just getting to the end of our reader questions now. You got a player of the season you could share with us?
Player of the season. For me,
Would have to be either Guillaume or Marcus, because he delivers.
Did you scout Guillaume?
I basically, yeah. I mean, we
tried to get him before.
We did a deal. We did a deal with Crawley 3 years ago for 400 grand for Guillaume, and me and the owner of Crawley at the time, who was away in Asia, couldn't agree on how to pay the 400 grand. I wanted to pay it over time. He wanted it up front. We were trying to buy him and Joe Walsh, the centre half, who went to MK Dons, and in the end, we didn't do the deal. But the club had tracked Guillaume in our system for a long period of time, and we got a phone call last summer that he was driving to Leyton Orient, and the fee that was told to me I couldn't believe. So I rang Basil, I rang the manager, and I said, listen, Guillaume Edwards is on his way to Leyton Orient. I think he's a fantastic whatever else. Grant knew about him because he's in our scouting system from all the stuff we've done analytical wise. And he said, no, Chairman, we were signing Brad Inman, and I said, are you okay with having both of them and whatever? He's like, get him. I said, right, come off the phone. I rang Baz. I said, Baz, he's in a car on his way to Leyton Orient. Get on to his agent. I rang his agent. He turned the car around and came to Peterborough, and we did a deal with Crawley.
Would Brad Inman be amongst your biggest disappointments? I mean, obviously there are mitigating circumstances.
Yeah, he broke his leg. We expected big things from Brad this season. I think he'd be the first to say he hasn't even coming back from the injury. Same as Leanne Goal. You know, it wasn't like they did an ACL. They broke a bone. You know, you'd like to have got more out of both of them. So I think, yeah, definitely. I think Brad, as a footballer, has a lot more to give than what we're seeing.
Yeah. Now I'll be under contract for more than a year?
Yeah. We've got him for, another period of time.
Have we?
We do.
The transfer list is an option though, isn't it?
It is an option. Player. It is an option, yeah, absolutely. And there'll be a fair few going on it, and it'll be released at the end of the season.
Okay. I think you mentioned on Twitter recently that no more Premier League youngsters.
No,
absolutely not. Not even a goalkeeper. Because we had one from West Brom trialling, didn't we?
Yeah, but he's available in the summer.
Yeah.
So that wouldn't be a loan. You know what I mean? So we're looking at various goalkeepers. We have lists of goalkeepers that also could be transfers that we'd have to bring in. If we were able to do a deal to bring in our current goalie, would we do that? Of course we would, but not on the current deal.
No. Yeah, I mean, Luke's been very impressive, hasn't he?
He's brilliant. He's a great lad. He's good family. A really good lad. I think we'd improve him no end here, longer term. Yeah. And but I just don't think we can afford him.
I mean, our agent fees came out, didn't they? The last Friday, 149k was it?
We don't spend any money.
Do we not?
Well, no, apparently.
No.
But isn't that right? Didn't we desperately need money when I sold Connor?
Absolutely.
So what are we doing spending nearly 200 grand in agents' fees?
149k, wasn't it?
Does this make any sense?
Why do you though?
Why do we what?
Do you have to?
Well, you have to understand.
Yeah.
When we go and buy players, young, hungry, you pay a fee, you bring the player in, whatever else. The agent's not so much of a drama. If you go another way and go and get a free transfer like a Ryan Tafazoli, or a Brad Inman, you're not paying a transfer fee, are you? So other things tend to be a little bit more pricey,
right? And
people don't understand that. So we got quite a few free transfers last year, didn't we? We went down a different route, brought in quite a few frees. Hughesy, what's his name? Tafazoli, obviously Brad Inman, and then there's the players you do buy. So yes, the agents, it was too much. It was sixth, I think, in the league.
Yeah. So you were comfortable, but not. You'd rather it was.
I'd rather it was a lot less than that. It will be next year.
Someone says here, is Barry Fry unsackable?
Nobody's
You're
unsackable.
a big fan, really?
Nobody's unsackable. Listen, does Baz drive me mad sometimes? Has he done things where you can ask him where I've kicked him up the arse? Absolutely. I mean, trust me. You.
I think you mentioned one in your book, didn't you?
Yeah,
Craig,
my wife came out and thought I was murdering the cat in the back garden as I was screaming so much, and everyone here has felt my temper.
Did you? Was it the Craig?
It was
Smith thing.
Actually,
when you left,
it was something else. There's been a couple of occasions, but the great thing about
did you
Baz,
seriously think about letting him go? Then?
No, never. The great thing about Baz is like family. And it's not like he has a job for life. He does a brilliant job for me, and he's. Sometimes you need to be picked up, and he picks me up. No one else does, or my wife, and that's picking me up in a different way. Barry does a great job of picking me up when I need it. And Barry has done things and made things happen that this club's needed to happen, and he's done it, and that's what he does. Barry's like me, he's a closer. We close when we need to close, and he's good for the club, and he's great for me.
And if I bought another football club, I would come and recruit Barry.
Would you?
Yeah.
You asked.
So, good news for the fans. I'm taking them with me.
Yeah. Good news for the press. you asked for fans' ideas on improving the matchday experience recently. Any of them be implemented?
Yeah.
I'll tell you who's asking this is a Plymouth-based fan called Mr. Rutkowski, who makes a 300-mile round trip once a month.
That's a fan.
Yeah,
wow.
But he doesn't like the facilities when he gets here.
Yeah, I get what he's saying. Do you know what I mean? They're not my facilities. Tell them to write to the council. Yeah. I get
Are
what
you
he's saying.
adopting any of the ones that were sent in? Because you asked for the...
Yeah. Did anyone like the pre-match entertainment we started then? We started doing the zone around the stadium.
Yeah, well...
For the fans, have you guys even seen
not
that?
had a come, but I've seen it.
I turn up 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But that's the problem.
I wonder by it.
You obviously haven't, because you don't even know what I'm talking about. But we put in the fan zone.
Just out here.
Yeah, we've put a fan zone in. We're doing quite a few things. We've got quotes in for the bar next door, for the training ground. These are all things that we're putting in action, you know. Are they going to happen tomorrow? No. Are we going to improve the catering, things like that? Yes. We got lots of great ideas. We tried to implement some of them as well with some ticket prices, some marketing efforts. We're bringing in fun days next year, Tom.
How's that
you had your ladies' day the other day, didn't you? And what was the other thing you did? You're doing an armed forces day next year. You know,
how's that life all going?
I don't know. How's the life all gone?
Alex
is rebate. So I'll find out tomorrow. We're having our annual commercial meeting tomorrow. So, on the year so far.
But there's some issues with the training ground with the council as well over the 3G surface. Was that a bone of contention? Has that been resolved, or
it's all resolved? I've had to pay
you've just
$700,000 for a new pitch. Yeah.
Right.
On a place we don't own.
Right.
So, but again, we don't have any money. So who's paying the $700,000?
Right. Okay. Who? You?
Yeah.
Pre-season training camp?
Yeah, well, at the moment we're looking at Scotland or Ireland. We want to play Irish teams or Scottish teams. Not Portugal, not Spain. No. We're either going to go Ireland or Scotland, and we're coming back here first. We won't go away till the 6th of July, a little bit later, whereas they'll be in training a bit earlier here. Go on the 6th, so I think it's the 11th. We're going to play 2 games, hopefully, one on the 8th, one on the 11th, and then go home on the 12th.
Okay.
So,
just fancy that more than the sunshine then.
We just looked at it and thought, you know what, we need a real intensive camp. We need a camp where when they get there, they've already had a week's training back here at our training ground, and then we need to play some games. We felt that's worked for us in the past when we've done it. We've had good seasons usually afterwards. And we thought, it'll work for us this year. That's what we want to do.
Are you going to do another book?
On football, no.
No?
No. But on sales and life, yes.
You are?
Definitely.
Excellent. I think I'm done.
Really?
That was excellent.
Jeez, you ended early as well.
Well,
see, the popularity's on the wane. You're 20 minutes gone, you know what I mean? Just like that. But that was enjoyable.
You can have too much of a good thing, Darragh.
You can have too much of a good thing.
Are you still filming?
You know?
Do I turn it off then?
End it. Come on.